What is it like to be hooked up to a lie detector with Robert De Niro asking the questions? What is that like?
Oh man,
What is that like?
That whole experience was sort of felt like every day being in that sort of like under the his eye, and like sort of I think he made it because he's a method actor. He didn't make it easy for me. He wanted me to always feel uncomfortable. He really did feel like that the whole time. And, and Bob, because now I do call him Bob,
Yes.
he's such a sweet guy, but like he really understood what the dynamic was there. And you never know, because he could be like, he would really, every once in a while he would laugh at something, but then every once in a while he'd get really, really mad about something, and you never knew which way it was going to go. And of course, when he'd get angry, it's like the De Niro that we all, fear, the Goodfellas De Niro. So it was very fun. I didn't have to act at all. It just sort of existed through that movie.
I love that. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I've seen that movie so many different times and in so many different places. I've seen it on a plane, and at 35,000 feet. I've never been on a plane where every person, it was on one of those old school planes where everyone was watching the same thing. I've never heard a plane laugh hysterically quite like that film and that scene in particular. And I thought, so was that ad-libbed in any way, or were those lines actually nailed?
I mean, it was all, we worked on the script, and at that time, every day we would come in and maybe make little tweaks, and, Bob would try stuff. But I don't remember doing a lot of improvising, except, it's the kind of thing you throw something in every once in a while, but the improv kind of comes sometimes when you're working with the writer and the director to kind of figure out stuff. And Jay Roach directed the movie. He was a great comedy director, did Austin Powers, and he was awesome at being able to get people to play around and have fun. But also, you knew what you did going in. You weren't having to make it up at the time.
I love it. I love it. And then,
it was fun.
Do you have a good Brett Favre story from back in the day? Ben Stiller. You got a good Favre story for me?
I mean, I remember. No, I don't really have. I remember. That actually was an improv in that movie where I don't quite know how to pronounce his name. Richard Brett Favre or whatever. That was because I literally didn't understand how to pronounce his name. And, still don't know.
Because it's funny, we had the Farrelly brothers on the first year of this show 8 years ago, and they told us that you did have trouble pronouncing his name. So that is true? That was...
Yeah, totally true. Yeah. But every day on that movie was an adventure because, the Farrellys would have so much fun making a movie. They at first you're like, what is going on here? Because they really didn't take it seriously. But cut to 20 years later, Pete Farrelly wins Best Picture Oscar. The guy does know what he's doing. But the fun thing was that you kind of every day you go oh, is this going to be an actor? Is this Frank Langella, or is this their guy who repaired their phone last week? It's just there's no just be friends, family, and then real actors too. And every day they just be and doing crazy jokes that are very inappropriate jokes on the set and things like that. And yet that was their they created such a fun atmosphere, and I think that's what made that movie fun. Is nobody really knew what was going on most of the time, but that's kind of intentional, I think, with them. They wanted to keep that energy.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.